Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Golf Front Podcast. My name is Brett Bevilacqua and I'm a realtor with Carolina Property Sales in Southern Pines, North Carolina. I am also an avid but incredibly mediocre golfer with the goal of playing every course in the Pinehurst area. Each episode, the Golf Front Podcast, is going to feature one of the over 60 golf courses within an hour drive of Pinehurst. Though the bulk of the podcast will profile a local course, I will add a quick blurb at the end of each episode about the real estate market in and around the featured golf course. I'm going to talk to you about courses you have heard of and courses you haven't. As I said, I'm not the best golfer, but getting better with each round. I grew up just outside of New York City on the Blue Hill Golf Course, where my father was the greenskeeper. While in high school, I also worked in the pro shop as a cart boy, a caddy, and was part of the maintenance crew. In junior high, I played on my high school golf team. I also played on my college team. After college, I gave up the game while getting a career in broadcast and the film business off the ground. I spent 22 years in that industry and only played a couple of times a year. Oddly enough, though I lived in New York, I played most of my golf while visiting family in Pinehurst every Christmas. I changed careers in 2015 and started selling real estate in New York. I moved to Pinehurst in 2018 and got my North Carolina real estate broker license not long after. I am not a golf expert by any means, but now, at the age of 51, I can't get enough of the game. I really love the Sandhills section of North Carolina, and selling real estate is far and away the best job I have ever had. I hope that passion comes through on this podcast as we take this journey in what is known as the home of American golf. As I said, I plan to play each course in the area and then report on what I liked and why you should give the course a shot. I also have the goal of keeping every podcast under 15 minutes, hopefully 10. If you have any suggestions, want to get together to play around, or if you want to be a part of the show, please reach out to me. Here are a few things you should know. I almost always play from the whites, though I will usually mention the length of the course from the back tees. As I said, I love the game, but I am also doing this to attract people, specifically golfers, to our wonderful area. I and many other residents play year-round, though it does get a little cool mid-40s to mid-50s in the dead of winter and quite warm and humid in the middle of the summer. Not surprisingly, that's when green fees are at their lowest. I put this podcast together in late December and played Knollwood a few days ago. I was wearing shorts. A few days later, I played in Durham, and there was a 2-hour frost delay. Most of the courses I profile will be courses you can call in and set up a tee time. Others may not be so easy. Either way, I will cover every golf course because who knows, you may relocate to Pinehurst, become a member, and hopefully this podcast will give you that little extra insight to make the right choice. I hope that visitors to our area also check out the podcast. I often run into vacationers and discuss some choices of places to play. What is exciting to me is when I meet someone who came here to play golf and I direct them to a great course right down the road that they never heard of. I'm sure you were expecting Pinehurst, CCNC, or Dormy for the premiere episode, but we are going to start off easy. This episode, I want to talk about Knollwood Fairways, a 9-hole course just 4 miles east of the heart of the village of Pinehurst in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Knollwood was built by golf course architect C.A. Pitts in 1964. As far as I could find, this was his only course, and he didn't do a bad job. Honestly, I have driven by Knollwood maybe 1,000 times. Up until a few days ago, the only time I ever stopped was to hit balls at their practice range. The range is fairly priced, and in addition to the range, they have a putting and chipping green with a sand trap. It is a great facility, and they also give lessons. Rumor has it that when we have a big tournament in town, the pros come out to Knollwood to see how they are hitting their irons. Knollwood, though very short, just over 2,500 yards from the back tees, is super tight, perhaps the tightest course in the Sandhills. I was caught off guard by the layout. 3 of the first 4 holes are par 3s. The first is 125 yards from the back tees, while the second is just over 200. The third hole is a 275-yard par 4 that will only be reachable for the best of the best players. It is just too tight, and laying up would give you the best chance for par. It is interesting to note that all the greens at Knollwood are small. In fact, they are tiny, which really adds to the charm, and the first 5 greens are all sloped back to front, which only adds to the fun. The course normalizes on the 300-yard 5th hole as the fairway opens up in the landing area. The 6th is a very short par 5 that is makeable in 2 if you put your drive on the right side of the fairway. The tabletop green is a nice touch and can make things tricky, but the 6th is a birdie hole. The 7th is a 505-yard par 5 from the back tees. I know I said I always play from the whites, but Knollwood is only 100 yards longer from the back, and playing from the tips really does add to the experience. What really makes the 7th stand out is the double dogleg, right off the tee and then left just before the green. Only the best players should be able to get there in 2, and honestly, I would like to see that. For mere mortals, there is a pond just to the right side of the fairway about 180 to 240 yards off the tee. If you fade or slice, you could get wet. The 8th is a short, just under 300-yard par 4, where you need to hit across a street, up a small rise, to another bunkerless tabletop green. The 8th also has a little bit of Pinehurst history in the fairway, but you will have to play to find out. The 9th is tricky, a 250-yard par 4 that is tight, and the green is off to the left. I wouldn't try to drive the green as there isn't much landing room, but if you could pop a 175-yard shot to the right side of the fairway, you should be able to set yourself up for par. According to the website, it is $14 to walk or $22 total with a cart. When I played Knollwood after 3 p.m. in December, it was $18 with a cart, and it was well worth it. The greens are bent grass, and the surface was very good and true. The tees and fairways are Bermuda and in excellent shape. The layout is pretty much flat, and you mostly play among homes. Being a 9-hole, there isn't very much scenery to speak of, but all in all, it's a great bang for your buck, and if you have 90 minutes, there's a good chance you can get all 9 in, even on foot. Coupled with the practice facility, it is a great place to get tuned up for those visiting and trying to get as much golf in, or it would also be a great addition to a morning round for those wanting to play 27 in a day. For more information, check them out at www.knollwood-midland.com or call them at 910-692-3572. There are plenty of homes, condos, and rentals within Knollwood Village, and they are among the most affordable real estate in the area. More importantly, Knollwood is nestled between some of the most expensive real estate around. If you want to learn more about Knollwood Village or anywhere else in Moore County, give me a call at 845-365-3665 or send an email to brett@hmpfilms.com, and I will show you all the area has to offer, and maybe we can also play a little golf. Once again, I'm Brett Bevilacqua with Carolina Property Sales. I hope to hear from you soon.